Okay, so I'm going to talk through how to do the QuickSort algorithm. This algorithm is higher level only. Okay, so what it does is it looks at a list of items and decides if that list is already sorted or not. And the way it decides that is by looking how many items are in the list. So if there's no items in the list, it's already sorted. If there's one item in the list, it's already sorted. In this case, there's more than one item in the list, so it's not sorted. So what it's going to do is it's going to take this entire list and split it up into 3 different lists. So the first list is going to be items which are small. The last list is going to be items which are big, and in the middle is going to be items which are equal to the pivot. And the pivot is always chosen to be the last item in the list. So 22 here is the pivot. So what happens then is the algorithm works through the list one item at a time and places them into one of these 3 lists. So it will look at the first item, 88, and decide that that's bigger than the pivot, so it puts it in the bigger list. Next item, 46, bigger than the pivot. 25, bigger than the pivot. 11 is smaller than the pivot. 18, smaller than the pivot. 12, smaller than the pivot. 22, equal to the pivot. So it split that one list into 3 different lists. Okay, so the center list, the middle list, is already sorted, but the other 2 lists are not, so they now need to be sorted. So starting with the left list, look at the length of the list. It's bigger than 1, so it needs to be sorted. So it's going to split this list into 3 lists using the last item as the pivot. The first list is going to be smaller. The last list is going to be bigger, and the center list or the middle list is going to be equal. So we have, going through the list one item at a time, 11 is smaller, 18 is bigger, 12 is equal. So then it looks at this first list here and it decides that the list is already sorted because it only has one item in it. So it doesn't create 3 lists, it just creates one list with the sorted item in it. If we look at this list over here, which needs to be sorted, there's only one item, so it creates one list with that one item in it because it's already sorted. What we now have is 3 lists which are already sorted, which were the 3 which we started with up here. So what the algorithm then does is take those 3 lists and puts them back together into one list. So concatenates them all back together, putting them all in the order that they're in already. Okay, so that list is now sorted. We go over to this next list and we sort it. It again needs to be sorted into 3 lists. One which is smaller, one which is bigger, and one which is equal. We go through the list one item at a time. We're using the last item as the pivot. So 88 compared to 25 is bigger. 46 is also bigger. 25 is equal. We look at this list and we decide it's already sorted because it has no items in it. So that one's already sorted. We're looking to sort this one. It has more than 1, so it's going to be split into 3 lists. One which is smaller, one which is bigger, and one which is equal to the pivot, which is the last item in the list. Go through the list one item at a time. 88 compared to 46 is bigger. 46 is equal. We then look at this list and decide it's already sorted because it has no items. Look at this one, decide it's already sorted because it only has the one item. We then have our 3 lists which we need to put back together. So we're bringing the 3 lists and we're making them into one list. Nothing 46 and 88 just gives us 46 and 88. We then go back up a step here and we can see we've got 3 sorted lists again. So we bring our 3 sorted lists together and make them into one big list. So Notting 25, 46 and 88. And then we go back up another step and we have 3 sorted lists with one here, the 22 from the beginning, and this list. So we bring these 3 lists together to make one big list. So 11, 12, 18 are 22, 25, 46 and 88, and this is our output. Our entire list that we started with has now been sorted.